There's Erickson Lubin. Erickson, how are you, my man?
What's going on, Ray? How you doing?
Good, my friend. How are you? How are you feeling? Is your family okay as you deal with the coronavirus? So where are you at? I know you have a son. What's the status of you with this whole situation?
I'm staying indoors. I've been training, but just very limited. Staying indoors with my family, my brothers, my son. He's here now. Yeah, just staying away from it. Staying healthy.
Erickson, are you currently in Florida? I know that Florida has loosened up restrictions, but have you been
Yeah,
able to get in the gym with Kevin Cunningham in West Palm Beach, Florida, or
yeah.
what's going on?
I've been able to get in the gym with him about 2 times a day sometimes. But we're taking it slow until we're able to get a date, or when this pandemic passes by, or they come up with a solution.
I got you. Now, how are you feeling getting back in the gym, Erickson? How long have you been back in the gym working with Kevin?
I miss it. We've been in the gym for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Not too long, But I miss it, man. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready for this pandemic to be over with.
Erickson, last year was a very impressive year, in my opinion, for you because you started off your year. We'll go back to last February when you became and are the only man to stop Ishe Smith. How big of a win was that for you? Because nobody stopped Ishe Smith. We know how much of a veteran he is. We know what he brings to the table. Former world champion, the first fighter from Las Vegas to become a world champion. And you went out and you decimated him, which I think spoke volumes about you.
Yeah, Ishe, he's a very respectful dude. I have nothing bad to say about him. It was a good fight. I just came off the Charlo loss. I had a tune-up fight, and then they offered me Ishe Smith, and I was willing to take the fight because I knew that was a great fight for me to get back. Someone like Ishe Smith, he's a former world champion. He gave J-Rock a tough fight. He gave Tony Harrison a tough fight. I think they were like split decisions and majority decisions. So I wanted to go in there and make a statement, and not just for the world, but for my division. And I feel like I've been doing that. After the Ishe fight, we fought the dude from France. He was a pretty crafty dude as well. Nathaniel Gallimore was pretty crafty. He hits hard. So, just working with Kevin, I feel like, it's made a big difference. I still had the same team. It's still the same team. We just added on, Kevin Cunningham, and, he's played, a major role in my craft.
Well, yeah, Kevin Cunningham, let's get to that, relationship that you have with Kevin Cunningham. Well, I think Kevin Cunningham is one of the most underrated trainers in boxing today. What does Kevin Cunningham add to your game? You're only 24 years of age, but we have known about you for a very long time, well over half a decade now.
Yeah, I feel like he's just took my game to a whole nother level, with just, strict training and stuff like that. There's not much I couldn't do, because I've been boxing my whole life. I've been boxing since I was about 4 or 5 years old. So I feel like Kevin just took my game to another level, inside and outside the ring. He teaches me the business aspect, and then we're going in the gym and putting, 2, maybe three a day sometimes. So, I just feel like, we're working hard, and he's just teaching me to, be more smarter in the ring, just use my IQ, just everything we need to work on. It's just like whoever's in front of us, we're going to go in there, we're going to, execute a game plan and, draw up a game plan to execute.
Erickson, last year you fought 3 times, as we pointed out. I feel like you thrive on being active and having, 3 fights a year because, I mean, that's, you really seem to get into your groove and find your rhythm. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I love being active. Being active, there's no better tuning than that. You're in front of the crowd, lights, camera, action. It's just like, I put in a whole bunch of work in the gym for it to pay off on fight night. And, whenever I'm able to fight, I try to go out there and just impress the fans and, just keep my name buzzing. And, my main goal is to be world champion. That's my main goal. And not just world champion, but to be unified and undisputed.
Now, speaking of world champion, you had an opportunity, your only blemish on your record, back about over 2.5 years ago against Jermell Charlo.
But
What have you been able to learn and finally putting that in the rear view mirror? Because, you're only 24 years of age. You're barely entering your mid 20s and
yeah,
have all this experience with you. But how much did that play a role in your development as a fighter, even though it was a loss?
I mean, it didn't just play a role inside of boxing. It played a role outside too, because I feel like it helped me, like it was like a character defining type of loss. When I lost, I was like trying to rebuild and trying to see who's still with me, who's my friends, and like I was still trying to figure out things. Like I went in there pretty young. I do admit that it was probably a bit early, but just the way my skill set is and my mindset, I feel like I was ready for that fight, and I feel like I wanted to get in there so quick and become a star so soon. But God had different plans for me. We bounced back. We still bounce back, and right now I'm sitting at #1 in the WBC. So a rematch is in the near future.
Jermell Charlo spoke with Kenneth Bohari and Michael Rosenthal on the PBC podcast and said that he feels there is no reason for him to go backwards and relive that fight with you. What is your feeling when you hear those comments from Jermell Charlo?
I mean, he see what's going on, man. I know he sees what's going on. He see that I'm with Kevin Cunningham. He see what I'm doing to these fighters that most of the division is having trouble with, and he just he's trying to buy time. I feel like he's trying to buy time, or he's trying to find a different route, or end up moving up or something. I'm not ducking no smoke. Jermell Charlo's a great fighter. I'm not taking anything away from him. There's a lot of great fighters in this division. Galarza was a great fighter. Artur was a great fighter. EJ Smith's a great fighter. There's a whole bunch of great fighters at this level. But I feel like I'm the best at 154 pounds. And, a rematch with Charlo is something I definitely want, just to put a stamp on it.
Do you feel that when you said that there's possibility that he might move up to 60 and that he's trying to find another route, are you saying that you think that he might be avoiding you, or is that unfair to say?
I mean, I'm not going to necessarily say he's avoiding me, because he took the first fight and did what he had to do the first fight. Yeah. So I mean, psychologically, I know he's probably feeling like he sees the process and he see how much I've matured inside the ring, and maybe he's just like trying to like maybe catch me when I'm vulnerable or something. But right now is not the time. I'm a very dangerous fighter right now, and nobody at 154 pounds can beat me right now, as we speak.
Can you tell us about, you are still in your 20s, but the pressures of dealing with being in the limelight as a young man, the money obviously is getting better for you as well, but the pressures in dealing with like the money aspect and the fame and everything else. I mean, when you win in that first world title opportunity, because that's not easy to deal with as a young man, and much less be on such a grand stage that you've been on.
It's definitely not easy, but it's what separates the average from the greats. To be able to go out there and be so young and even make it there, you gotta be some type of special. To even make it to a world title at just 21 years old. It's not like I came up easy. I wasn't fighting, just a whole bunch of gimme fights or like just picking fighters that I wanted to fight. No, we actually just, whatever name that they gave us, is what we took. And, I feel like that helped a lot. I feel like when I was signed to Mike Tyson, before I got with Premier Boxing Champions, I feel like that helped a lot, because, he was obviously young as a world champion, dealing with a lot of money, a lot of fame. And, I feel like he overcame that. So, he was able to pass it down to me and, teach me how to deal with it so I don't go off in a wrong path.
Erickson, you're 24 now. Is there a difference when it comes to your strength at 24 compared to that of when you were 21, 22 inside the ring? Do you feel like
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I'm 24 now. That power has always been there, but I just feel like, as I keep working hard in the gym and staying focused, it only gets better, man. I'm only getting stronger. I'm only getting faster, smarter, and my next fight, I'm gonna be able to show that.
Have
Be
you
able to show that
thought?
for sure.
Have you thought about fighting potentially in a closed environment with no fans? And what do you think about that? Because it sounds like we are going to, we're getting closer to resuming whatever it could be of normalcy in life. But have you thought about the prospect of fighting in without any fans but a TV audience?
I mean, to me, the fans are everything. I love the energy in the building when the fans are going crazy, or when I'm in the ring and the fans are going crazy. But due to the coronavirus, the COVID-19, it won't be able to be the same. To start off, at least, it won't be the same. So it'll just be like, I'm in the gym, or if I'm sparring. I never had people in the gym while I'm sparring, or not too many people. And if that's what I got to do to be world champion, I'm gonna do it.
So what's next for Erickson Lubin? Can you tell us, have you talked to your handlers as to a possibility as to when you might be back and against who?
I'm not sure. But we're looking to be back as soon as this passes by, or they come up with a solution. I want to be one of the first names called to, get a date or have a date. I want someone like Tony Harrison. I want to go up against someone like Tony Harrison. I feel like it's good for PBC. Two fights that it's a fight that's easy to make. Two fighters that's part of the stable. It's easy to make. I'm #1 in the WBC. He's #3 in the WBC. And I feel like the winner of that, definitely, like, if we don't deserve it now, but I feel like winning that fight, the winner of that fight definitely deserves a rematch with Charlo.
Let's go back and revisit January of this year when Jason Rosario defeated Julian Williams to become the super welterweight champion of the world. What was your thoughts on Rosario's performance, who is a hard-hitting puncher?
Yeah, he's definitely a hard-hitted puncher. He did what he had to do, man. He did what he had to do. J-Rock's a great fighter, but Rosario, he's hungry. J-Rock may have gotten a little comfortable winning the belts, maybe, or being in his backyard. But Rosario came in there with a game plan and executed it well. That's another fight I love another fighter I love to face is Jason Rosario. Even J-Rock, I love to face J-Rock. All the top names in the division. I'm not ducking anyone.
Is it crazy to think, Erickson, that you went ahead and, you defeated Nick Gallimore, defeated Jason Rosario, and you defeated Gallimore, and Rosario defeated Julian Williams? That's just crazy to think how boxing works sometimes.
Yeah, but none of them could beat me.
Now, Erickson, the super welterweight division is so loaded. We talked about, Jermell Charlo, Jason Rosario, Garrett Hurd is still back in the mix as well. Julian Williams, Terrell Gausha, a man that you were supposed to fight before he got injured. How much does that amp you up as to know that there are no shortage of top-level opponents for you?
It's exciting. We'll fight any one of those guys you just mentioned. But the question is, will they fight me? Terrell Gausha, Olympian, great fighter as well. I'm not taking nothing away from him. We had a matchup. He was supposed to be in there instead of Gallimore, but due to whatever he had going on, he couldn't fight. But that's still a matchup. I love to fight Terrell Gausha, because he was running his mouth, and I like to shut him up.
What was he talking about in regards to you specifically?
Pretty much telling me I ain't on his level type of stuff. It's just regular talk. But all that talking don't matter. It's about how you back it up in the ring. That's what I like to do. I want to back it up in the ring. I don't want to sit here and talk about Charlo. I don't want to sit here and talk about Tony Harrison. What I'll do to him. I just want to get it on. I want this pandemic to pass. I want everybody to stay safe. Hopefully they come out with a cure or something, and we able to have the fans in the building or something. Because those two fights is what the fans don't want to miss. A matchup with Erickson Lubin versus either Tony Harrison or Jermell Charlo too. That's definitely a matchup they don't want to miss.
Erickson, you are a father as well. You mentioned that your son is with you. How much has that changed the way you approach life and the way you approach your career?
Family is everything to me. You know, my son is everything to me. You know, he's always with me. He picks up off of me. Whatever I do, he does. So, you know, I just try to lead by example. I try to, you know, bring him to the gym with me sometimes, or like, you know, just different activities that he'll love. You know, just, you know, have him around it. You know, I don't necessarily like want to force boxing onto him, but you know, if he does it, he does it. You know, he's gonna do whatever he wants to do. I just want him around me.
Do you take him to the gym with you, Erickson? And does he hit a little
Yeah,
bit?
I take him to the gym with me. Yeah, he just runs around while I train and stuff, hitting the bags. You know, just doing what kids do.
I know that you and Dennis Galarza are very tight. Dennis Galarza,
Yeah.
a fighter as well, and Jason Galarza used to be your head trainer. Now he's, you know, your assistant coach alongside Kevin Cunningham. But talk to us about that brotherhood. For those who don't know, I've watched you guys grow and blossom and develop, and you're, whenever Dennis fights, you're there with him the entire week. Whenever you fight, he's there the entire week. But the love and the bond that you and the Galarza family share with one another.
That's my brother, man. Dennis is my brother. He calls me every day. You know, we stay in contact with each other, man. It's nothing but love. Our sons are, you know, like best friends, man. They're like brothers. So, you know, I bring him to Dennis's house sometimes. He brings him to mine. You know, we hang out. We always hanging out. You know, Dennis is talking about making a return soon. So that's someone they definitely want to watch out for, is Dennis Galarza.
Erickson, during this time, have you gone back and watched old boxing matches? How are you, you know, what are you doing aside from training when you can to pass the time?
I mean, I'm always watching boxing. I watch boxing all the time, almost every day. You know, I'm always on YouTube watching boxing. I watch all the fights that come on TV, or when they were coming on TV. And just passing time, just like, you know, I'm still in the gym, so it ain't too crazy. This is what I do every day anyways. I'm always in the gym. I'm always hanging out with my son, my brothers. So the only thing that's different is the curfew times and, you know, the stores not being open. So ain't too much different.